Alrighty then. So my voice, it's back. Speech is back as well. I'm feeling much better, more refreshed. So like I said, I think I made the video like 2 days ago where I was sick. See, it doesn't take that long for me to get healed. It only takes like 1 or 2 days. So yeah, strong immune system. It's a good perk to have. So yeah. So last I left off, this is part 2 of what if Deku and class what if class 1A and class 1B were isekai'd. Before we start with the actual plot and the important parts where they're inside of, well, that world, we're gonna get to the less important parts, which is the outside world. So take in mind, it's been exactly a month. A month and 2 weeks, to be exact, since class 1A and class 1B and the teachers have been gone. Now, over this time, there has been a panic, not because the villains kept attacking, but because they don't know what happens to the number 1 hero and, well, the number 1 students and number 2 students. So, Endeavor took up the spot of One For All of number 1 hero for the time being. Honks is number 2. Basically, you know how the thing goes. Basically, how the new rankings of, well, heroes are. All Might got healed. All Might got healed by the second princess, not the first princess, the second princess. So yeah, so you don't have to worry about skinny tiny All Might, nah, because when that nigga goes like deflated, he's actually gonna look a little buff. So yeah, due to his training. Night took up the role as principal. Surprisingly, I didn't think I was gonna do this, but Night took up the role as principal. Why? Because, well, since his ability allows him to see, well, the future of anything he touches, he could see the future progress of the school just by touching it. So, yeah. Hold on, I'll be going outside all the way to my room now. Okie dokie, yeah, transfer complete, transfer done. Alrighty then, we close the door now. So yeah. Shit, it's kinda high in my room, hold on. Alrighty then, okie dokie. So, now we cut back to Deku and friends. Deku, he has a fairly good relationship with his familiars, and like I said, the familiars he has are basically these 2 doggos. Yes, these wonderful, beautiful doggos. Remember when Deku basically used this sword, they transformed. Alright, they transformed into humans, and they're females, not males. I'm gonna say this now, they're females, not males. Why? Because it would kind of be weird for, well, the next part that will be happening for when, well, it's morning for Deku and the first princess. So, yeah. So, Deku, he smashed the first princess. He has an unlimited times affinity with his dogs. His connection with his dogs are infinite. So, yeah. So no matter where they are, they'll always be with each other. So, yeah, hold on. We're not gonna talk about that. Alright, so, Deku, he, basically smashed the princess, and they became a thing, and you may be wondering how they became a thing. Well, while they were, doing it, while Deku was piping her down, she yelled out, "I love you," and Izuku heard this, and he said, "I love you too," and, well, you know how it went from there. She basically, well, had the hands on the face, and she pulled him in for a kiss, and they kissed, and Izuku asked the question, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And she cried and said, "Yes, yes, yes, a million times, yes." And quite surprisingly, you may be thinking, "Oh my god, isn't this moving a little too fast?" I mean, like, yeah, it's moving a little too fast, but still. Do you really want me to make it so slow that, oh wow, it's gonna take years for them to be together? Nah. So anyways, no, like, cause she got to get to know Izuku not just like that night, but like a few times while Izuku was exploring sometime, he came across her and some shit like that, apart from like the first time where he scared the living shit out of her. So yeah. So Izuku, he wakes up, he sees that she is still in bed. She's wearing a lingerie. She's just wearing a regular like lingerie, white one, I guess. Cause like I don't know much about those. Cause like I know like I have a grandmother, but they don't wear those to bed. Why? Because, well, do I really have to answer this? Cause like I feel like this is gonna be offensive to some like adult women and old women, like they're out there in their 40s and above. So yeah, like specifically like people that are like females that are specifically 45 and above. All right. like it doesn't matter about like age or beauty, but like all right, I'm gonna just say this and say it like with pride in my chest. Boys, please back me up. Please don't let them hurt me in the comments. I can already see the headlines. Lotus What Ifs is fucking sexist. Like I could see it in the comments. Lotus What Ifs, why are you so sexist? Why are you so offensive? Why are you so disrespectful to women? I thought you said you were with women's rights. Why are you so disrespectful to us? So we don't have the right to wear lingerie because we're 45 and above? That's not it. Alright, so yeah. So like the reason they don't wear it is beauty wise. That's all I'm gonna say, beauty wise. So yeah. So please don't come after me in the comments. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. It's not because of that. Like quite honestly, that's like my thought on it, like on how they feel. I never really asked them about it because well, I don't want to offend people. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. So girls, like if we're talking serious here, if I were to pick my poison with any offensive thing that I said to a girl, one thing that I would pick my poison saying is probably, let's see. Your bust size is too small. That's the only poison I'm picking. Why? Because it doesn't really matter to me what size your bust is. So yeah. So yeah, she's wearing a white lingerie, and Izuku, he says, "Alrighty then." Cause Izuku says, wait, who changed her into that?" As he looks on the floor and he sees basically the two wolves, basically the two wolves just looking at each other like they're having a staring contest. As Izuku, he says, "What are you two doing?" As da da da. This one says, "Oh, we're having a staring contest, master." As it says, "Yeah." As Izuku says, "Alrighty then, but can I ask you a question?" As they both said, "Sure, what is it?" She says, "Who, changed us?" As, the white wolf blushed and the black one said, "I changed, the princess." As he looks at the white wolf, the angelic wolf, and he says, "So you changed me, right?" As she blushes and says, "Yeah." So yeah. If you couldn't guess it, if you didn't guess it, um, um, this, yes, her, that's her. Yeah, that's her. If you couldn't guess it, if you couldn't, guess it. So, yeah. And you may be wondering, why didn't she have the wolf ears? Well, let's just say she was cursed, alright? She was cursed. So, yeah. And, like it's not like she like you may be thinking, oh, wasn't she a demon? Like why is she not wearing the demon one since she's wearing black? That's the close she's gonna get after changing back into a human. So yeah. So is it so Azuka says, "Alrighty then." As he says, "Alright," he puts on an apron. Well then, let's start off the day. As you know, some make some eggs, bacon, shit like that. So yeah. Make some eggs, bacon, some toast. Quite honestly, I'm gonna be dead ass with y'all. If I ever eat eggs, bacon, and sausage, there will never be a day. There will never be a day. You will see me have milk or orange juice next to me with those two. First off, my taste buds are on a whole different league. My taste buds, they don't count as taste buds. When I drink milk, it tastes like salted water. I'm dead ass. It tastes either like salt, it tastes like salted water. When I drink water, it tastes like metal, alright? Orange juice, that shit makes me spit a lot, so I'm not going through the day just having to spit every like second. Because I'm gonna have places that I can't even spit in, so yeah. So yeah, you probably get the gist. So Izuku, he's not doing that. He has like a cup of coffee. He has a coffee. He has coffee. Yeah. He likes it black. Why? Because I like it black. Why? Because I don't like milk in my coffee. I just don't like the taste for some reason. I just don't. It's not like I have anything against like drinking it, like when with milk in it. Like I could drink it with milk in it. It's just that like it's not to my likings. So yeah. And if it sounds any offensive to any black people in my comments, remember, your boy Lotus What Ifs. He's a certified black nigga. He's the blackest of the black. Alright? So yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this on the first day. No racist comments in my YouTube channel. If I see it, I'm sorry, but you should not be on my channel. There shall be no racial disrespect. Alright then. Alright, after that's concluded. So, yeah. So, Izuku, he finishes eating his food after 30 minutes. And over this time, the princess woke up. You know, she wiped her eyes, went to the bathroom. She washed that face of hers as she brushes her teeth with Izuku's brush. Why does Izuku have a brush, even though he's been exploring for what? A few quintillion, 100 quintillion years? I don't know. He just is. Alright? So he just does. He just does have a toothbrush. I mean, like, you gotta keep that hygiene. Like, shit. Like, niggas been eating monster meat since day one. So, shit. So, yeah. He ate them shits raw, cooked, like, bro, filleted, like, dead ass. So, like, the only monsters that Izuku did not eat were the monkeys or the praying mantises. For some reason, they look disgusting. So, yeah. I'm not gonna say that. I was thinking of the weirdest thing. Alright, I'll tell you in the comments, like, if you want, but I'll probably do it in, like, the end of the video. I'll tell you what I was thinking about. So, yeah. So, it's a really disturbing thing. It's about, like, it's not, like, something that's directly involved into, like, my childhood, but, like, it's something, like, that, like, I'm curious about. So, yeah. So, Deku, he just sitting there after eating his food, just digesting it. Basically, he has a high metabolism, since, like, that shit just takes a while. As Izuku, basically, you know, the princess comes down and says, "Is there any for me?" As he says, "Yeah," in the kitchen. As she goes in the kitchen and sees a difference, she says, "Where's my that meat you had?" As he said, "Oh, you want meat now?" Or stuff now. As he says, "Oh, you can't eat that meat." As she says, why?" She says, "That's orc's meat." As she says, "Ew, you eat orc's meat?" As he says, "Well, I had no other choice but to eat animal meat since I was kicked out of your castle." As she looks down and says, "Oh, right, sorry about that." As he says, "It doesn't matter. Not like I can reverse the past." As he says, "Oh, wait, I can. Memory magic. But I don't want to use that." It'd be funny, though. So, yeah. Alright. Let's keep in track how much years have passed for Midoriya. For Midoriya, in total, 100 quadrillion years have passed. 100 quadrillion, 100 billion years have passed for him. Alright? For Class 1A, it has only been 100 years. Alright? You may be wondering, how are they not dead yet? Well, here's the thing. Their body still moves to the law of the outside world. So, to them, there'd only be 1 month and 2 weeks older. So, the whole thing with them, being immortal is not really a thing. It depends on, like if they stay inside there for exactly, like, 112 years on the outside, like, the time, like, 112 years, like, they die inside that world, since, well, their time has come. So their body is still moving on the laws of the outside, not that world itself. So yeah, so Deku has met, I think, three, four, five gods. He has met the god of death, the goddess of spirits, the goddess of power, the goddess of impurity, the goddess of love. So yeah. So Deku, he has big brains, and yeah, so she says, right, as she says, wait, but you never really told me about your adventures. As Deku says, alrighty then, as he basically explains, just going inside to monsters, like when he was on level 0, just fighting monsters that were like level thousands and above. And she says, oh, that must have been hard. As he says, yes, it was, since there was no getting out of it unless I had to kill the boss. As she says, but wait, how much years did it take you to do that? As Deku says, well, for counting the years on, well, your time, it took me 2 years, but to me, it was, I think, a few billion years. I think, no, it was 2 trillion, no, 2 billion if I was exact. Yes, it was 2 billion years to me. And she says, what? She says, yes, time doesn't work for me. So if time were to stop, if time were to be frozen on anyone, which means like their movement as well, it wouldn't work on me. I move at a different time frame than everybody else. So stopping time wouldn't really stop time for me, but actually slow it down for me. But sadly, just slowing down time can't really stop you from getting your ass beat when it comes to fighting me. As she says, oh, damn, it must be that bad. She says, yes, it is that bad. As he says, well, that doesn't matter. As he, so by accident while getting up, he drops, well, the glass. As he says, oh, wow. As he basically uses wind to pick up the glass and fix it, and he can't really do it, and all of a sudden, he thinks, how about he heats up the glass and fixes it. As all of a sudden, a text box comes in front of him and says, new skill acquired, forge. As he says, for forge? As he says, I wonder. Give me your armor. As she says, I don't have armor. As he says, right. She says, I should have some spare metal. As he goes through his space thing, and he has plenty of metal. Quite honestly, he has infinite pounds of metal. As he says, alrighty then. He's basically playing around with the metal and making many shapes, many sizes and stuff like that. He's turning the smallest things into the biggest things, basically. I don't know how that works, it just does. Alright? Well, there's a specific way to, examine it. He's controlling the cells of, the metal, making it so that the cells can, give birth or replicate, faster than normal. So yeah. And while doing that, he got a skill. It's called small matter control. And, already small matter control was at infinity. Since Izuku, he has, an infinite multiplier to everything he has. Take mine, I only said infinite, not infinity. There is a difference to the two. Infinite has its limits as well. Infinity means it is endless. Alright, infinity means it's endless time. It still has its infinite still has its barriers, which is inside of this universe. Infinity, I don't think it's actually beyond the universe. So yeah. Infinite stops at megaverses, if you didn't know that. So yeah. So, Deku, he basically goes to the kitchen and goes wash the dishes. As she says, so what do you plan to do from here? As Deku says, it's not like I had anything to eat, like human food. I've only been eating monster food and cactuses, so can't really say I had the best childhood because I'm considered a adult by now. As she says, "Wait, how old are you?" As he turns around and says, "Which age do you want, mentally or body wise?" As she says, "Both." As Izuku says, "Body wise, I think 20. No, I think I'm 19 years old. Mind wise, I'm infinites of years old." As she says, oh. So yeah. As when he got mad at manipulation, a fairy appeared in his head. A fairy, not a spirit, a fairy. Alright? Spirits don't have wings to fly. Alright? Spirits don't have wings to fly. I want you to notice that. Spirits do not have wings to fly, so yeah. God damn. So, Izuku, he does that. And, I didn't really get to cover this in the last part, since I was trying to go faster so I can, go to fucking sleep, since it was at nighttime when I was doing this. So, Deku, like, I'm not one to go to sleep early, it's because I was sick. So, so, Deku, when he finished training with the angels, he got, alright, when he was done training with Jehovah, or God, he got 3 angels. I don't know what to show you, but I'll try it. Alright, so I changed my mind. It's only 1 angel and 1 demon. So basically, this angel has, the abilities of all 4 angels. The top, I think, 5, I would say. 5 angels in 1. So, yeah, and that is the angel of time, the angel of space, the angel of actuality, the angel of fiction, and time, space, actuality, fiction, and basically all good and justice. So yeah, and then there's the demon. Take in mind, I won't say that the demon's a shit, but they'll be like, alright, I'd count them as friends with benefits, alright, yeah, I count them as friends with benefits. I'd say they're friends with benefits, yeah. Cause like they're not in a whole boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. Like they only like Deku smashes from time to time. But that's when she's feeling like really, really horny. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna actually say the words this time. I'm not censoring myself. So like that's when she's like really, really horny, and she gotta let loose. She gotta get some white stuff in her life. Alright, that's the only thing, some semen, alright, semen. Kids, semen is a really important thing. You'll learn about it in the future. It's a part of the human body. Semen holds a lot of nutrients. Girls do not drink semen unless you know what it is. Alright, so little girls, do not ask your mommy what is semen. Do not ask daddy what is semen. Alright, take it from me, Lotus, what is here. Yeah, semen is a really important thing. It helps make babies, and it has a lot of nutrients. And the nutrients inside that semen is what keeps the baby alive. So, whatever you do, do not hit a boy's private part, or it will come back to you in the form of a dead child. I promise you that. Do not do that. So, yeah. So, that happened, and this is the angel. You may be thinking, what's the power of the demon? Well, I'd say it's mostly succubus, since, succubus. So it's mostly a succubus, but like the other powers it has basically the 7 deadly sins, all the other 7 deadly sins. Basically, I'm not talking about like the ones in 7 deadly sins, the anime, but like basically like the 7 deadly sins, like sloth, greed, lust, wrath, envy. I'm not naming all of them. And pride. I really did. I'm really naming all of them right now. Oh my god. Well, that's not what I'm stopping at. The also has the 4 heavenly generals powers: control over fire, water, air, and earth. Alright? Okie dokie. So, yes, that's its powers. So, Deku, he notices this and he says, wait a damn minute. As he legitimately punches himself in the side of the head, basically, in the temple, and knocks himself out. As she sees this and she says, is he okay? As basically Izuku goes inside and he says, alright, so, I'm gonna ask you guys this once and once alone. Who are you and why are you in my head? And if you do not have an answer that I find acceptable, I will either kill you or severely injure you and send you back to where you came from. As they explain that they came inside Deku's mind after he got the swords and after he completed the dungeons. As he says, oh, so this is Jehovah's doing and Satan's doing, huh? As the two says, yep. As Izuku says, Satan's already dead. Jehovah did nothing wrong. So, Angel, you get to slide, but Demon, I want to know every information about you. As she basically, says what Izuku just said. As he says, alright, wait a damn minute, you just said succubus, so that means... As she says, yep, we'll do it once in a while. But not today, since I'm not well horny, and I can control myself. As Izuku says, alright then. So, does Deku have marks on his body? Like the demon? Would I say he has those marks on his body? Yes, he formed a contract with the demon, so he has the marks of the demon, basically. You see all these marks right here on its body? Yes, it has the marks. So yeah. And, from the angel... Let's see what he got from the angel. Yeah, basically the tattoo in the eye, he got that, and he got that hollow on top. So, yeah. That's all I'm gonna give him. Because I can't make him too dangerous if he had all of that. Like, he's already dangerous as it is. If I just gave him more, like, are you not scared for what lies beyond infinity? Like, shit. This man Deku is only at infinite. This man's not even on beyond. Like, once he gets to, like, beyond, he's only infinite plus. Once he gets to beyond, then infinity, then eternity, bro, what are you gonna do? And then limitless, then endless. Like, what? And then endless void? Like, what the hell? Like, this man, once he gets to endless void, there's nothing stopping him from literally blowing up existence itself. So, yeah. So, he got the marks. He got the mark. Alright, so, yeah. As, basically, Izuku, he wakes up seeing that he has the marks on him. He says, the marks actually didn't hurt this time. I wonder. Wow. Oh, nope. Here it comes. Oh, my God. As he just screams for 2 minutes and then passes out for a whole, hour. And in that time, he saw Rachel. As Rachel, she basically slapped him. As Izuku says, what was that for? As Rachel says, because you didn't come see me. As she says, right. Yeah, sorry about that. But, hey, we can get you to the real world now. As she says, wait, what? As she says, yeah. So, like I said, I was working on that. So, Izuku, he does the best boyfriend move, best 360 no scope of the world itself, and Deku, since I have the ability to manipulate reality and fiction, Izuku, he says, pow, and all of a sudden, a hole appears. Basically, this hole appears. As she says, what? As he says, go through. That's how we get to reality. As she says, alright. As she goes inside, and they're basically in the room, and the princess, she gets in a fighting stance and says, who are you? And she hears a voice from behind, and he says, calm down. As the princess says, Izuku, who's this? In an angry tone. As Izuku says, alright, so this is girlfriend number one, meet girlfriend number two, Amelia, meet, the first princess. No, not Amelia, Rachel. meant Rachel meet Amelia, girlfriend number one meet girlfriend two meet number one, Amelia meet Rachel. As the two basically look at each other, and you just see like the lightning thing go between the two as they think, yeah, nice to meet you, as they shake hands, as basically they go and talk to each other. As they come and they agree that this is Izuku's fault. As the two, they go to Izuku, drag Izuku to the room, beat him up, and then reward him. As Izuku was complaining while he got beat up, saying, "Why? What did I even do?" As he says, "You had more than one girlfriend." As he says, "I understand where Amelia's coming from, but still, Rachel, you were warned." As Rachel says, "How do you know that?" As he says, "I mean, like, the second god I meant, the second guy I meant was kind of your dad, so, you know, so, you know how it goes." As she says, "My god, that pesky old man." As he heals himself and he says, "Well then, since we're rewarding me and apologizing, I guess I might as well dig in." As the princess says, "Wait, we have to go outside." As he says, "No. First, I have to pipe you down." As she says, as like she blushes hearing that. As Amelia blushes as well. No, not Amelia, Rachel. Amelia was already blushing, sorry. I'm getting mixed up between the two names. This is Rachel, this is Amelia. Rachel, Amelia. God damn it! Amelia, Rachel. Alright then, good. So, Amelia's already blushing. Rachel starts blushing as well. As Deku proceeds to smash for the next 30 minutes. Alright? Why? Because they have things to do. We have places to be. They have lives as well. So, they go as, you know, Deku, while seeing the princess get dressed, he couldn't help but, you know, get a little stiffy. And, he ripped her, stocking, and they proceeded to do it in front of that mirror. The mirror's eyes were widened. Its eyes were opened. That's how it would be if that mirror had a life, alright? It would say, "My life, my everything, my being has led up to this very moment. To watch a very beautiful man smash two very beautiful women in front of my very eyes. Normally, I would feel ashamed since I'm not able to join, but this is the next best thing. And by the next best thing, I mean it's the best thing." So basically, that's what the mirror would have thought. So yeah, Deku had sweet love with the princess in front of that mirror for the 10 minutes. And Rachel walked in and said, "What are you doing? Stop it." As he nudged on the princess, inside of the princess due to an accident. He says, "Nope, we can't have that." As he stopped it before an egg got fertilized. And yeah. So basically, Izuku, he's walking around with the princess and the Reaper, Rachel. As Class 1A is walking around as well, they're exploring. Izuku saw Class 1A, he showed that bloodlust, which is why Izuku went to see the princess. As everybody sees the princess, and they're like, "Princess, why are you here?" As Izuku, he's basically walking, and Izuku, he basically looks like this. Izuku doesn't really care about anything. He's really a calm demeanor type person. He still hates Class 1A, quite honestly. His trust for everybody is the same as mine. So I don't trust people. Don't even trust myself. And yeah. So, you're gonna hear a pause in the video a few times because I need water. So yeah, how long has it been? Good, 33 minutes. Alright, filler's over. Let's actually do the video. So yeah. So Deku's walking around with Amelia and Rachel, and they come across Class 1A as Uraraka points that out. As Mina says, "Let's go talk to her. That's probably her boyfriend." As Mina goes to her, basically her, and take in mind, Bakugo has taken a liking to the first princess and, you know, tried to get it with her, but sadly she's not interested in Bakugo ugly. So yeah. So everybody in Class 1A go, and Mina says, "Princess, what are you doing?" As Princess says, "I'm here with my boyfriend." As Bakugo says, oh, boyfriend. Probably better than him. As Deku looks at Bakugo and says, well then, let's see. You look about a level, 2.5 million. That's nice, but it's still low level. As Bakugo says, huh? Low level? As he says, no. He says, you look about a few 500,000. Oh, 500,000, but sadly it's still too weak. Count your days, boy. You'll find monsters stronger than ones that you have faced today. As Bakugo says, huh? I'm probably stronger than you. Fight me. As Izuku, he's showing that confident and says, fine. But on the inside, this man is showing an evil-ass grin and bloodlust is leaking. And the princess can sense this as she nudges him in the chest and says, calm down. As Izuku says, right. So, the two, they go to a training ground near where they were staying. As Bakugo proceeds to, light his hands up in flame as he says, flame magic. That's nice, but it's not enough. But anyways, come on, charge at me. So, Bakugo charges at Deku. And all of a sudden, right when he gets into a 15-foot radius of Deku, he feels like he gets hit in the head as he falls on the ground. As Deku says, oh dear, looks like I forgot, as all of a sudden, this doom-type atmosphere appears around Izuku, basically the whole field. As Izuku's eyes open, showing those blood-red eyes. I forgot to mention, I don't just control water and air. I control every element. That's how good my control with elements are. Oh, and by the way, I'm only using air. Watch where you step, or you'll happen to, I don't know. He snaps his finger, and all of a sudden, this sword appears. Hit a wind blade. So, I wonder, how will you see through me? As Deku, he snaps his fingers again. And this time it went transparent again, but not only that, Izuku applied sound magic, not making it loud, but soundless, which means the vibrations in the air, which means like the microorganisms in the air are silent as well. So Bakugo's here and won't do anything, nor will his smell or anything. So yeah, as Bakugo says, as he backs up and basically tries to hit Deku from every angle, and he just hits his head everywhere he goes, as like he's not noticing this. But the princess notices this, and she's thinking, is he? No way, as she uses magic eyes. And Izuku notices this, and he says, you know what? I'll actually let her see it. As the princess looks, and she sees there are no other swords around but one. And Deku's controlling it to hit Bakugo in the head every time. So Deku's not going hard on him. He's going the easiest that he can. As she starts chuckling to herself and saying, oh my god, that's so funny. As everybody looked and said, what's so funny? As she says, don't worry about it. As basically this fight goes on for 30 minutes until Bakugo says, you know what, I'm going serious. As he amps up the output of flames. As Deku says, alright then. This is to my liking now. Well then, let's get this started. So all of a sudden, Izuku, he rips off his shirt. He rips off the shirt, showing his 10-pack. That beautiful, sexy, juicy 10-pack. Oh my god. That shit beefy. Alright, I'm gonna stop now. As Amelia, she looks and says, Ada, Ada. I can even do a girl voice, surprisingly. As the boys trying to make some gay-ass jokes as Ada. Well, that was Kirishima, as Deku called wind of this and says, alright, she can say it, but you can't, alright? That's sus. That's pretty sus. You can't say that. As Kirishima says, alright, I'll stop. As Deku, he hasn't forgiven Kirishima. He did that to give him attention. And he's not gonna stop giving him attention. He's gonna do that on purpose. So every dumb sus shit he says, he's gonna call him out and say it's sus. As basically when he takes off his shirt, basically everybody looks on him. Like everybody looks at him and sees this mark on his chest from basically these, like the ends, like the bottom ends, like you see these, they end all the way at the bottom of his his 10-pack. See this on his back, and including this on his back. As they're like, what are those? As the princess and Rachel see this, and Rachel says, did you go inside the... As Izuku, he looks and he puts his hands to his lips and says, in the position, as he says, whoa there. You can't just expose people like that. It's dangerous. As Rachel says, he's right. And plus, those places are sacred places only him and me know about. As she says, wait, how does he even know about it? As Izuku's fighting, and right when he's about to kill somebody, a familiar pink-haired loli appears in front of Izuku and everybody else, as she says, what are you doing? As Izuku says, what, am I not allowed to use my powers? And she says, you're allowed to use them, but I see you're infusing your body with magic. You should stop that before you kill him. As Izuku says, come on, I'm trying to be as normal as can be. And she says, you're nowhere near from normal, so why even try to be normal? As Izuku says, fine. As she says, good. As she hugs him and says, well then, I have to get going. As she says, remember, you still have to get stronger. I'm still in S class. As Izuku says, you know, for her age, she acts like a child. She says, alright then, I'll just use physical enchantments. As he dashes at Bakugo, like he appears just in front of Bakugo, just right when everybody blinks. As Bakugo says, what? As, shit, hold on. So yeah, Bakugo says, what the hell? As Deku, he grabs Bakugo by the head and says, you know, I kind of feel bad, but don't at the same time. I want you to guess which one I feel. As he proceeds to launch Bakugo into the air. Exactly 2,000 feet into the air, and that means he is out of the, stratosphere already. So, Izuku is just thinking about if he cares or not. As Bakugo, he's basically, coming down like a meteor. He passed out due to the wind pressure hitting his head. As Izuku thinks to himself, do I care? Do I care? Do I really care? Do I care? Do I care? It doesn't matter. As Bakugo comes down, Deku catches Bakugo in the head again. As Bakugo, he basically puts his hand up. Like he woke up and he forcefully puts his hand up and explodes Deku's face. And Caesar did nothing as Deku says, that all you got? Sad. As he slams Bakugo's head into the ground, knocking him out. As he says, alright, who's next? If you want, I'll face all of you at the same time. As Todoroki just cracks his knuckles, basically cracks every knuckle, and says, that's kind of cocky of you. And Tokoyami, and basically all the boys said, yeah, it's true, except for Koda. Because, my boy Koda is shy. And you may be wondering, Koda betrayed my boy Deku? Nah, Koda remembers Deku. Yo, my boy Deku was Koda's best friend. Him and Koda used to hang out all the time. They used to play around with rabbits. Deku has a pet rabbit because of Koda. Shit. Deku got a pet rabbit too. Him and Koda got pet rabbits, twinning. Koda got a red one. Deku got a green one. No, Koda got a I think white one, right? He has a white one, and Deku has a has uh has a green one. Yeah. So basically, Deku says, "All right then, go ahead." As he puts his hands up in a come at me position, as all the boys charge at him. As Todoroki uses ice magic and stuff like that. And basically, all the boys using different elements. As Deku says, "Alrighty then." I think it's time I end this. Hold on. And it's basically, hold on. He puts his hand up, and he basically puts his hand into a fist 2 times and says, "Absolute cancel." As in reality, he's controlling reality, making it so that they can't use magic. As they're like, "What? He has magic to control, to cancel out other magics?" As Deku says, "Alright then. Now, let's fight physically." As they basically see Deku rush at them. He's not even going at full speed. They're like, "What? What? He's not even using magic? Is that his physical body is that strong?" As Deku, he appears right next to Kirishima and punches Kirishima into a wall. But luckily, Kirishima had his hardening, but even that didn't stop Deku from punching him into the wall. He sent Kirishima flying through 3 buildings. Then he went after Sero, punching Sero in the side of in the side of the stomach, sending Sero flying into the wall, making a crater. Then he caught Tokoyami. He caught Tokoyami and Sato. And he punched the 2 in the face, sending the 2 flying into the wall, making craters. And he charges towards Koda. Koda thinking that he's gonna get attacked, but Deku stops in front of him. As Koda says, Koda's basically shaking. As Deku, he picks up Koda. Koda thinking he's gonna get thrown. As Deku basically walks through the edge and he places Koda down. And he says, Koda says, but why? Deku says, "Well, obviously, you seem scared. Why would I have attacked somebody that's scared? That's the worst thing I could do." As Koda says, he's so much like Izuku, and he unconsciously says, "Izuku?" As Izuku turns around and says, "Huh? Who's that?" As the girls know about like his situation, so they don't expose him. As Koda says, "Sorry, wrong person. It's somebody I know." As Bakugo woke up and says, "Why the hell are you saying that damn nerd's name? He's probably dead." As he says, Izuku. I'm pretty sure I heard that name before. Ah, that's right. He appears right in front of Bakugo, lifts Bakugo up, and slams him on the floor. You know, the way you portray him sounds like he's a bad guy, as if he raped a princess, but he didn't. It's sad, really. So yeah. So he says, it's kind of funny. I've seen the kid's memories. But it doesn't matter. Last time I saw him was at least, when was the last time I saw him? That's right, 10 years ago. As they were like, "What, you saw Midoriya? You saw Deku?" As he says, "What do you mean he didn't rape the princess? We clearly saw him on top of the princess." As he says, "That's for me to know and you to find out." So, Deku, he leaves with the princess and all that stuff. And we do a time skip to a month later. As the princess is leaving and the class, as they basically see Deku walk out with the princess and, well, 2 wolves next to him. He says, "What are those?" And she says, "These are my familiars, Mia and May." Alrighty then. Z sees May, and Z sees Mia. So yeah, as he says, "Why did you bring them?" Deku says, "Well, I'm planning to leave. I'm not coming with you, but I have other places to be. Can't just stay here forever. As they said, alright, as he kisses the first princess but goodbye, which is Amelia. And basically Rachel comes running out and says, wait, hold on. So Amelia says, so Rachel says, you get to ride on a wolf while I'm just here running. As Izuku says, alright, I'm done playing with you. Get on, Mia. As Izuku says, finally, as he's riding on May. Why? Because, well, let's just say May started sleeping with Izuku for some odd reason. He doesn't know why. Like, he doesn't at all. So, they do that, and they go their separate ways. And on his way there, this is going to be useful. Alrighty then, I got everything prepared. So, about 1,000 miles away from the kingdom, Deku comes across this dungeon. This dungeon, it's, instead of it being an angel, it's an angel with black wings. And he says, what is, is this a fallen angel? It doesn't matter. As he says, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just leaving. As before he leaves, he sees this figure. Well, this. Basically, this person, but without the whole face. And yeah, she's not a ship or friends with benefits with Deku or anything like that. The only friends with benefits with Deku is the demon. And over this time, like about 3 weeks after getting into Deku, she got really, really horny to the point where she started doing some nasty things, and she started fingering herself in distant parts in Deku's mind. And Deku noticed this, and he, well, went inside of his mind, and they did some work that you would usually do to make babies. So yeah. And Deku's tattoos can get darker. Yeah. His tattoos can get darker. Well, not tattoos, but, well, symbols and marks. Like the marks on the demon can get darker, depending on his relationship with the demon. So the shade is much darker than it is in the picture you see here. So he just saw this. You weren't supposed to see that, but you saw it anyways. So this is the mark that's going to be inside of Deku's eyes after he defeats the dungeon. So he sees this figure and he says, she's probably chained. Spent so much time trying to defeat Class 1A, and those dumbasses aren't even strong enough to beat me. But I have a new goal. First, gotta get strong enough. Gotta get my weak ass to the God's domain. Train there. Beat that stupid childish god of power. Then beat the god of all those gods. Pretty decent dream. Alright then. Plans ready? Now then, let's set the plan into motion, shall we? As he proceeds to do that. As he goes inside the tower, and basically, the tower, it has 12 levels, but Deku thinks, oh no, there's obviously a catch. And the monsters that come out are beyond. As he says, oh my god. What? Fuck it. As, like, there is no boss to, like, this dungeon. It's just that, like, this fallen angel is sealed inside. Deku, he actually enchants himself with magic. And the gloves appear on his hand as he proceeds to, well, punch the demons, as he sees that they have a lot of physical resistance. As he says, shit, this is really gonna help. with my training. As he proceeds to do the same thing he did with the praying mantis and just go around just punching it. And he's not just punching that one monster, but every monster there, just strengthening his fist. As in this time, Conqueror's will has gotten so strong. The Conqueror of Death has gotten strong. The Conqueror's will has gotten strong. Conqueror of the skies. Like, it's gotten Conqueror of the world even. It's really strong. As Deku, he's getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. As he's like, alright then. It seems like you guys are weakened, which means it's easy for me to beat your asses now. Catch my fists. As he proceeds to punch them all, just obliterating them. As he goes higher and sees level 2 beyond. As he says, what? There's levels? As one of the monsters says, he hears a voice, a little beautiful voice. And just want you to imagine the voice like the voice of, a squeaky child's voice, a squeaky type child's voice, not like a bratty child's voice, but like an angelic child. Say, there's only levels to things that have reached beyond. As he hears that, he says, what? Wait, this voice, is it you? As he can't hear the voice anymore, he says, doesn't matter, I'll find out later. As he says, so things that have reached beyond has levels, huh? Well then, that just makes it better for me. Which means I don't have to fight the same level. Catch my fist! As these monsters are level D and C monsters. Like Izuku, he still hasn't reached level A rank A or S monsters or SSS monsters. He's only reached level C. As he's punching these monsters, as the monsters are tanking his attacks. Just tanking them, as he says, I like that. Well then, let's proceed to the main course. As he strengthens himself a lot, as this time Deku, he thinks. So, you may be wondering, what happened to sweet old Rachel? Rachel didn't go with him. Rachel wanted to explore the world and Deku let it happen. Because he knows that, well, Rachel won't get hurt since, well, if she did, whoever hurt her would die. And plus she can't die since her dad is a god and he's the god of death, which means rebirth and reincarnation is one of the easiest things for her. To her, death doesn't even count as a threat. She'll just die and just be reborn or reincarnated. So, yeah. Hold on, let me get some water. So, yeah. So, he does that, and basically, he's basically mollywopping. And when I say mollywopping, he's basically mollywopping monsters. As all of a sudden he gets a thought. I've always let mana stay in my core. Can I put it in any other part of my body? As he thinks, how about my heart? Maybe I could pump mana into my heart, making it easier to get mana inside of my body. As he's thinking of doing this while he's basically fighting the monsters, as he just closes his eyes. And he's using the airstreams to sense the monsters where they're going to attack him so he can attack back. And all of a sudden, he falls on the ground and coughs up blood. As he says, damn it, as he falls on the floor. And he sees the god of death in front of him. As he says, hey there, old man, long time no see. As the old man says, what the hell are you thinking? And she says, what? Can't do that. She says, it's not that you can't, but can't you do it some other time? You're in a dungeon right now. I understand. Yeah, you are immortal. You can't really die, but still. You really have no common sense in the matter when it comes to when and when you should not be doing things that can harm your life on purpose. Izuku says, yeah, whatever, but did it work? As the god face palms. Why do I even? Yes, it worked. As Izuku says, good, now send me back to my body. As he says, fine. As Izuku's soul gets sent back to his body. And he basically, well, does that. And he does that, and his body, he feels like there's a whole lot of mana on his body. And Izuku, he still has, gravity on his body. He did not take gravity off of his body. His body still has gravity on him. It has about, like in this current moment in time, the gravity on top of his body is, hold on. Okie dokie, children, big numbers here. Alright, big numbers, really big numbers, a lot of big numbers, magnificently big numbers. Alright. his his current and total gravity number is one, not trillion. I don't know how to say this word, but like, yeah, this one, yeah, that one, yeah, the one with 45 O's, zeros, basically. Yeah. Next to which number is that? No. Between centillion, what the no. No, not cotillion. Alright, so yeah, that's currently his gravity, alright? So, he does that, and he says, alrighty then. I know he should be having like infinite gravity on him since his progress with gravity is big, but he doesn't focus on gravity that much. He has other restrictions on his body. He has like physical weakening on his body as well. He physically weakens himself. He has weakening magic and high level ones at that. So he's weakening himself while training. So yeah. So this man's Deku is tearing muscles every second, even while smashing to make babies. So yeah, so that happened. And Izuku, he does that. And we cut back to, well, the outside world. The League of Villains found out that All Might's not there. And they think, oh, now it's time for us to initiate our plan and destroy the world. But All for One says, no, not now. Soon, very soon, though. As he says, fine. So, yeah. So, Deku, he does that. And he finally defeats them after beating the Beyond rank level 12s. The Beyond level 12s. As he goes through the room and he sees basically this girl chained up. As she looks really hungry, as she says, you're here. As she passes out and Izuku catches her and he says, oh boy, what did I get myself into? As Izuku, he breaks the chains with reality bending. As, like, once he got, like, the ability of reality, the life spirit got stronger as well. Evolving into, well, the world spirit, Noah, or the spirit of life and existence. As Izuku says, as all of a sudden, before he even gets to touch her again, she turns into this glowing light and appears inside of Izuku's head as he says, oh, wait, shouldn't I be, what is this pain? As he's feeling pain in his eyes, as he says, as he's yelling. As May, she senses this as she runs to Izuku. And Izuku, he takes out this sword as he puts it out and he says, May. As May touches the sword and turns into a human. As a window pops up before Izuku passes out and says, time limit, 3 hours. As Izuku says, ow. as he passes out. And basically, Izuku's blind for a few, minutes since the mark is in his eye, as it's glowing in his eye, and Mei, she put bandages over his eyes, basically black bandages. As Deku, he says, oh, okay, at least that's better. And yeah, so he's basically in a world of pain. So yeah, as he goes inside of his head, as he says, okay, where is she? As all of a sudden, two hands grab him from behind, and he's basically being smothered by titties, and the back of his head is, as he says, oh boy, well then, what do you want, demon? As she says, I'm horny. As she whispers that in Izuku's ear, and Izuku says, is this really appropriate to say to me? As she says, yes, I want you now. As she basically grabs Izuku into the darkness and basically starts undressing herself. And she basically goes to Izuku and basically, starts rubbing that part up and down. As basically, she shows Izuku, the inside of, a very special part. I won't say that part because, I'm trying to, let the kids be respectful to one another, alright? I don't care if you're 12 or 13, you still need to have respect for, your, other kids. Well, I shouldn't really be speaking since I was only in second grade when I learned about these types of shit. Like, deadass, I was in second grade. Like, how old was I in second grade? I was 7. I was 7. I was 7 in second grade. So imagine walking down the street and you see a 7-year-old talking to his mom, and he says, Mom, what's a vagina? Are you really gonna let that slide? No, you're not. So I shouldn't really be talking. I was a 7-year-old knowing about these things. I'm ashamed. I feel ashamed of myself. I was 7 when I first found out about the dirty things. Yes, 7 years old when I found out about sexual intercourse and how it worked. Do I like it? Quite honestly, can't really say I do. But will I? Will I do it though? Yes, I will. Why? Because I have to expand the human population. If humans can just, poop out a new human, I wouldn't really need to do that. Just slay my ass around and just poop a kid and then just take care of that child. Like, do you need a reason to look after a child? I may be poor. If I see a kid on the street, I'm picking that kid up. I don't care if I'm poor. No matter how poor I am, I'm taking care of that kid. And I'll make sure I eat enough to fill my tummy halfway and give the rest to the kid and raise him until that kid is 18 and then finally die. But if that kid becomes rich by then and gets us a better life, shit, life's a better place now. So yeah, help the homeless. Help little kids as well. You don't know what will happen in the future. They can repay you back with millions and billions even in the future. People can turn just $10 into millions. So yeah. So Deku, he does that. And basically, she basically goes behind Zuko and she basically pointing her buttocks and upwards, just showing him everything. And Zuko, he gives in and, he picks up the 15-incher and he smacks the entrance of the you-know-what and he puts it in. And he thrusts in and out, in and out, in and out for about an hour. They do that for an hour, so they did many different styles. Cowgirl, that's only a few. Cowgirl, 69, doggy style, so yeah. You probably get it, right? Yeah. So they did many different styles. And basically, Deku nutted her. He did the nut jutsu. The Milky Release Jutsu Supreme. So, yeah. as like you could hear her moans like really loudly. You can hear them really loudly. Like you could just hear them as basically she's just yelling deeper, bigger, no, not bigger, deeper, harder, faster, and stuff like that the whole time, and more as like take in mind the gods are watching this like like the goddess of love, the goddess of purity heard this, and basically those two are feeling some type of way. They feeling some type of way. They want some, so they popped up in Izuku head and they grabbed Izuku from behind while he was thrusting, and started kissing Izuku, and well has his hand caressing the titty, and yeah. So Deku's thinking in his mind, and they can clearly hear this. Well then, this is gonna take a while, as he proceeds to smash, basically. And like they did that for a whole 3 hours. Three different girls, 1 hour each. As he's basically taking a breather. While all of the two, like the three of them are passed out due to, well, the pleasure, as all of a sudden he hears, are you okay? And he looks and sees her and he says, so it was you in that tower, right? As she says, yeah. As he says, so you mind explaining to me what happened to my eyes and why do I have this stinging pain in it? As she says, you're getting my mark as a fallen angel. As she says, fallen angel. But why exactly? As she explains that, well, she got sealed away by Satan and Jehovah because she was too powerful, more powerful than any of the angels or demons, and she was a fallen angel, and she could rival Satan and God, not combined, but the two separately, just one on one. As, hold on. So yeah, she was strong enough to rival them, as he says, but why aren't you like a god? And she says, well, I'm the strength of a god, but I couldn't become a god since, well, I was a fallen angel. I'm one who serves under God and Satan, and I can't, well, go against the two since I'm a servant. So they sealed me away, and they said the only way I'd get my freedom from them was to basically, well, get sealed inside someone that will probably be able to rival the two soon. And it seems like you're the one that rivals the two. As Izuku says, okie dokie. As then after 10 hours, after an hour, she woke up, as she basically goes to Izuku and gives him the biggest kiss on the face. Basically, just giving him like the wet kiss. Yeah, really wet kiss. They did a tongue too. So yeah, as Izuku says, we're not even in a relationship. And she says, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we're in a relationship. I'll love you and I'll always love you. You're the only one I love. As Izuku says, so it doesn't matter whether I have romantic feelings for you or not, you're still gonna love me. As she says, yeah. As basically, Deku grabs her by the neck and starts choking her as she moans. As Deku says, oh, you're a masochist. As she says, not only that, an exhibitionist, a pervert. As he says, alright, TMI, TMI, alright, we had enough, alright, okay then. As basically she says, what's a masochist? As she goes to explain, but Izuku covers her mouth and says, alright, if you don't answer that question, I'll give you 1 extra hour. As she hears that, as she says, never mind. And she grabs Izuku and drags him off to, well, a faraway place. A very safe haven place. As, let's just say he was, gone for 2 hours, and he finally came back out, crawling. I'm joking. He came back walking out, and basically, she's basically on the bed twitching. She's twitching. She's like, okay, no homo, no homo, no homo. All right. So yeah, because the things I'm saying is kind of sus. Because most of the things I'll be saying in these what ifs is kind of sus. All right. So yeah. So Deku, he does that, and he says, alright then, what do you want to talk about? And all of a sudden, he sees these rainbow lights appearing towards him as he says, wait a minute, are those? As he sees the spirits, and the spirits tackle him and said, Izuku! As Izuku, he starts laughing and says, hey guys. As they hug him and say, Izuku, you're back! As Izuku says, yeah. So, Izuku stays in there talking to 1, 2, 3, and the spirits. And basically, on his lap is the spirit of life. Why the spirit of life? Because that spirit of life counts as his child, alright? Since him and the goddess of spirits, well, created it together. And basically, well, 2 is on his back, basically. Number 2, right here, she's basically on his back, just hugging him. Let's just say Deku uses her horns as a handle for, very special things. Alright, so when she gets down on one knee, Deku grabs the horns, and they do some very, eccentric, exciting training. Alright, so yeah. And he uses a lot of force when it comes to that training, so it gets, sweaty, really sweaty. So yeah. Oh, and, she swallows. Alright, yeah, she doesn't spit, she swallows. She gawks too. So yeah. So Deku does that. And, 2 is at his back. 3 is basically floating above him, basically. And, well, yeah. So, 10 hours later, Izuku wakes up with the mark in his eyes. He wakes up and he opens his eyes as Mei says, your eyes. Like, outside, it's only been like 2 hours, but to Izuku, it's been like, I think, like, it'd be like currently, like, it's been like 5,000 years since Izuku, he amped up the time. So 2 hours inside in the outside world, or their world, is basically 5,000 years in Izuku's mind. As she says, your eyes. As Izuku, he says, my eyes. As he makes glass, and he looks at his eyes. Looks at his eyes and sees the mark, and he says, oh, wow. So these are the eyes of that fallen angel, huh? Well, it doesn't matter. And plus, she seems to be a god, so she probably knows, oh, this is gonna be special. As basically, he looks at Mei, and Mei currently has no clothes on, basically. Well, she has that on, but like without the staff and the gloves and stuff like that. As you know, she lifts up her skirt, and Deku sees it all as he says, you know what? We have 1 hour left. As Deku proceeds to hop on her with sparkles in his eyes, and, let's just say a lot of pleasurable screams can be yelled inside that heard inside that tower for, 59 minutes as she turns back. As, yeah. So Deku says, I wonder. As he says, reality control, curse break. As the curse breaks and Mei turns back into this. As Izuku says, wait a damn minute. I broke the curse, but why why are you still a wolf? As she turns back into a human and she says, I think I can switch between the two. As Izuku, he says, oh, wow, what have I done? As then a skill pops up. Curse configuration. As, oh, what the? Deku says, curse what? Configuration? As it gives him a description, he can configure any curse and control that curse anyway. As he says, oh, wow. So I can reconfigure curses, basically break them down, fix them, well, repair them, many more. Well then, this is nice. As basically Deku and her stay there inside that tower for at least 10 months. And in those 10 months, let's just say Deku and Mei did a lot of bedtime sparring. A lot of that. Nighttime sparring, bedtime sparring, they did a lot of it. And there were times where he was pulled into his mindscape to meet up with the demon and, well, do some exercise there as well. A really sweaty exercise. As in that 10 months, he went to the fallen angel and basically he put his hand on her forehead as she says, oh, what are you doing? As basically Izuku's eyes just widen and a white light appears in her eyes, in his eyes, as she sees it and she says, what is she doing? As Izuku's eyes go back to normal as he says, oh, alrighty then. Now that I know where they are. As she says, no, who are? As he says, the God's domain, obviously. As she says, you're going to the God's domain? But why? As he says, well, first off, I have a goddess waiting for me to beat her ass. Why wouldn't I? As she says, what? A goddess? But as he says, don't worry. I've got it under control. As Izuku says, alright then. As Izuku, he goes to heaven. And Izuku, he senses that the mana in the God's domain is infinite of times denser than the world that he was on. And he says, why is it so dense? As all of a sudden, all the God, like everybody in there, just looked at Deku and says, human? Human. But one of them said, wait, isn't that... He's that Izuku Midoriya boy. As everybody says, what? It's him? As they all rush Midoriya. He's basically getting swarmed. As basically they're all swarming Midoriya. As Midoriya says, wait, god damn it. As all of a sudden, he gets picked up. As he looks and the person says, you really are a nuisance, as it was the god of, well, impurity, as Deku says. Run into one problem, then you run into the next problem. I'm not even gonna fight, just bring me to your safe havens. As she smiles, it says, great, as she basically rushes to her house with Deku, locks the doors, and does some, well, very special things with him for 10 hours. As Deku, he tries to leave the room, like, 5 hours with, like after 10 hours, and she just grabs him back in, and, well, they continue doing it for another 10 hours, which means nearly a whole day passed by since they started. And while that happened, Deku was like, oh my god. As he finally got out, but to be sadly met with the goddess of love in front of the door visiting her twin sister. Her, well, best friend. Not twin sister, but best friend. As she sees Izuku on the floor and says, Izuku, why are you here? As Izuku says, well, shit. As she picks him up and says, "You wouldn't mind if I borrow him, would you?" As the goddess of impurity says, "Go for it." As she picks up Izuku and she runs off to her house, and, well, you get the gist. They do it for another 20 hours, which means a whole day passed by. Well, Deku, he crawls out and he says, "I gotta escape." As he escapes while the two are sleeping, as he dips, as he goes, and he's basically meditating. Alright, he's meditating as he thinks, "I have to get stronger with my heart pumping mana." As his heart is pumping, basically. His heart is pumping stronger and stronger. As he says, "Wait, that back of mine's, the bones that I haven't really strengthened them." As Deku, he's infusing his bones in mana. Or to be exact, it's a curse he has. His bones, he created a curse that makes his bones break every half a second. So it doesn't matter how strong the bones are, they'll break. And he also made a curse that he'll heal almost instantly after getting that pain. So he's having mana being infused throughout his body. His bones break every second and get healed every second. So basically, he's dying and being reborn multiple times. And basically, to the god of death, Izuku is just appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing, appearing, disappearing. As he says, "Why are you doing this to me? My life is becoming a living hell." As Deku stops the curse when he finally dies and says, "Sorry about that. I'm doing the training with the bones you gave me." As he says, "Oh my god, you're strengthening them, aren't you?" He says, "Yeah." As he says, "How long is this gonna go?" "I mean, I can stop myself from coming here." As he says, "That would be nice, thank you." As he says, "Alright then." So, Izuku, he made it so that his soul won't leave his body at all. And basically, he made it so that his bones, like all his bones, break at the same time. And basically, do it at infinites of speed. So, he's breaking, healing, breaking, healing, breaking, healing, breaking, healing. Just at infinite speeds. Just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Like dead ass. He's just breaking, rebuilding, breaking, rebuilding, breaking, rebuilding, breaking, rebuilding, breaking, rebuilding. And his bones are abnormally strong to the point where he can take a hit from the goddess of power, and not even feel it. So Izuku, he does that, and he makes a field around him, a time field. So he says reality. As he says, just 1 second in the god's domain is which one of these should I use? Perfect. Is this one, the one in the middle, this one. Yeah. That one, yeah. The one with the 54 zeros in it. So yeah. So just 1 second is that much years for Izuku. And Izuku, he stays inside that field for basically 10,000. No, like to the outside world, it's only been like 10 years. Like for the gods' domain, it's been like 10 years, and Izuku's been in there. He's been in a comatose state. To all the gods, Deku, he's been growing a lot of like moss on his body, and it even got to some of the higher up gods, like the goddess of power, Jehovah, the strongest god, like the god amongst all gods, as they went to check it out. Hold on. As the goddess of power saw this, and she said, "So he's finally come to beat me, huh? I knew it would come, but I didn't think it'd come to it this soon, huh?" So they do that, and basically, for those years, Deku's just been pumping mana throughout his body, to the point where he made an infinite cycle. Like him alone, like through this time, he's been expanding his whole core. He's been expanding his core, like the space inside his body. And just doing that, like expanding his core alone, is just breaking his core. Like he's cursed himself to have his core just like do the same thing as his bones. Just continuously break and rebuild itself like infinite times as fast. Like infinite times as fast. As his mana pool has gotten stronger and stronger, and his heart has gotten stronger as well. His lungs, basically every part of his body has gotten really strong. Them alone, he doesn't even need to pump mana into his body to completely demolish a mountain now. As all of a sudden, his heart reaches this level. So yeah, so Deku does that for next 10 years. Now, when it comes time for him to wake up, though, he can't. He sees that his body is in a comatose state. His physical body is in a comatose state, but his mind is still active thanks to the spirits and those other beings inside of him. And he thinks, fine, I won't only be doing this with my physical body, but in my mental state as well. As he goes inside of his mind and basically starts doing that. And while doing that, he sees that the spirits start doing it as well, copying exactly everything he's doing, since basically the whole formation of how he's doing it is being shown inside his mind. So are the angels, the fallen angel, the demon is doing it as well, as they're all getting stronger and stronger as well. And in the outside world, like, we're gonna do a time skip to basically everybody on Earth. It's been at least, 10 years since they've seen Deku. And to the God's domain, Izuku, he's been sitting in that same position for more than 100 billion years. And the goddess of power is thinking, when is he gonna finish? As his physical mind is in a comatose state as well. It's in a comatose state until he just feels a slap across his face. That slap was from the demon. As she says, alright Izuku, it's time for you to go outside now. As Izuku says, alright then. As he slowly starts waking up in the outside world. Hold on. As the marks from the demon are completely black, like they're all like pitch black due to his connection with the demon. And then they all of a sudden turn red, blood red. As she says, wait, why? As she says, well, most of the parts will be black, but it's mostly going to be blood red due to the fact that I'm a demon, and demons mostly revolve around, well, blood. As she says, alright. As the marks in Izuku's body turn basically red, and from the angel, the mark on his eye turns from a little yellow to basically full-blown gold. It's all gold now. And Izuku, he started sprouting wings. The same wings you see in the picture. Hold on. So I'm outside, and quite honestly, it feels nice out here. Not too hot, not too cold. It's refreshingly cool. So it's nighttime right now. It's 8:34, as you can see on my screen. So yeah, so Deku, he started sprouting wings like the angel, and he also sprouted he also has a black form of the wings. Like, he noticed this and he was like, alright then. And the mark in the eyes, like his marks in the eye, like this mark, it changed. So basically, hold on. Every part apart from the star has turned red. The star turned yellow. That's nice. So yeah, every part, like if we see that the brightness went down, that's because I put down my brightness. I'm outside, it's dark, and I don't really like it to be so bright when I'm outside. That puts the spotlight on me for some reason, I just feel like it. So Deku, he does that, and Basically, the star is yellow, and every other part is either basically red. Now, this part, basically the parts that are circling the star, they have, well, not turned, they turned white. And the crown part is gold, basically the top part, the very top. As Deku, he wakes up in the outside, and for this, instead of it being black, the wings are white and the hollow is gold, and so is the person. Basically, for this, it's just that, like, the shading got, well, the black parts got, well, darker, the white parts got, well, turned to gold. The parts where you see space in the black parts have turned to, well, blood red. So yeah, for this, it hasn't really changed. It just got, well, turned to red, and he finally got the middle part. And for this, it stayed the same color, except the colors got brighter. So yeah, Deku wakes up, and he thinks, alright, where am I? Alright, I'm in the God's domain. Alright, I think it's about time I go challenge the goddess of power. As he goes challenge her, as he says, you're finally here, huh, Izuku? As Izuku says, yeah. Forget the chit-chat. Come on, get that ass down here so I could beat it. As she says, kind of cocky and freaky at the same time. Deku says, you know damn well I don't mean it in that context. Now then, fight me. As they fight, their fight goes on for at least 4 to 5 days, and Deku beats her. She huffs and puffs, and she says, you beat me. Well then, I guess you're the new god of power. As Deku says, wrong. You're still goddess of power. I'm just a god. I'm no god with a specific name. I'm just the god of mysteries and the unknown. As she says, so I get to keep my title. She says, yup. As she says, thank you, Izuku. That's where I'm going to be leaving it off, because next part, Izuku is going to be fighting. No. Izuku, he goes and fights the strongest god, and he lost him. And that's the god of all gods. He lost him miserably, because he has many abilities. As Izuku thinks, I have to get stronger. So he does that same training he does. And while he was training, his heart grew again. And this time he got, well, the heart of the gods. And from the god of power, he got his durability, endurance, and power boosted. Basically, he has a times 200 boost on his power, and he still lost, as he did the same training, but this time, instead of it being that sub-trillion some shit year, it was an uncentillion year. This one, alright, the one with 306 zeros. And the pressure on him, he put his pressure to the one with 363 zeros in it. So Zuko, he basically did that, and he got stronger really quickly since the pressure on him was a lot. So Deku, he got to the level of a Beyond, and his rank is an S rank, but it's the S that's 10 times bigger than the regular S. And that's where I'm going to be leaving it off, guys. Deku, he goes and fights the god, and he beats him. So, after doing that, Deku became the strongest god, but he didn't take the title. He says, no, I'm not going to break the hierarchy. I want you guys to keep your same positions, because after all, I'll become a god after I've gotten bored of being a hero. I'll leave a legacy as a human in the human race, and then come to you guys and make my own legacy. By that time, I know you guys will be stronger. As they all smile and said, alright. As over this time, it's been 100 years since Izuku has been seen in that world. You may be thinking, oh, Amelia is probably dead, but she's not. Oh ho ho. You may be thinking, Amelia must be dead. Nah, Rachel ain't having that. So yeah, so he goes back, and you may be thinking Amelia is dead, but she's not. The god of death gave her the ability to live forever on Izuku's behalf. So yeah, and Class 1A, they're technically immortal in that world, and it's only been like 10 months. No, not 10. 2 months. Oh, it's close to the UA Sports Festival. It's been a month since, well, no, 2 months since Izuku and Class 1A and B were missing. And everybody's thinking, oh, they're never coming back or some shit like that. So, yeah. And this is when they're going to be going back. So, over this time, Class 1A, they've gotten to level. They've gotten to level, like, they all equally share this one level. 500 million. As Deku says, alright, time to go back to the castle. As he goes back to the castle, and he basically greets the princess. No, he didn't greet the princess as he goes. No, he goes back to the country that he first was in. As he goes to the castle to see the first princess, which is Amelia. As Amelia, she's been depressed since Deku has been there. And, well, she hasn't gotten the pipe, so, yeah. So Izuku went inside and said, so, did you miss me? As she heard the voice and she turned around and saw Izuku. As she yelled, Izu, as she hugged him. As over this time, the class basically just defeated the Demon King, and basically they're starting to disappear. As the king says, it seems like they've finished defeating the Demon King. As Deku, white light starts appearing on him. As Deku, he basically says, damn it, not right now. And it doesn't matter, I can always come back. After all, I am a living god, but still, I guess I'm taking with me. As he holds out his hand, grab my hand if you want to come with me to my world. As she grabs it immediately, as Deku, he basically breaks time and space and tells Rachel, grab my hand if you want to come with me. She grabs it as well without no hesitation. As the wolves basically grab onto Deku as well. And the demon, the angels, and stuff like that, they don't have to grab onto Deku since they're already inside of Deku. They're basically within his soul. So Deku, he stores them in his space ability. And basically, everybody gets teleported to the class. As basically, you just see this bright line. As everybody says, God damn it, what happened? As Deku, he looks at the class and everybody looks at them as everybody says, what the hell? As Deku says, shit. As everybody says, huh? Who are you? As Deku says, that doesn't matter. I'm leaving. As Aizawa grabs his shoulder and says, no, who are you? As Izuku says, oh. So Aizawa, the great eraser head, has forgotten his student that was framed for being a rapist. You know, I really should have expected nothing from you heroes. And if you're wondering where the scientific parts I said was how he does his things, basically the types of things he does to himself. As Aizawa says, wait, problem child? As Izuku says, ding, ding, ding. As Bakugo charges after him, you rapist! As Deku isn't having it, grabs Bakugo by the head and slams him on the ground. This is the second time you've gotten your head slammed into this very floor. Try me. As everybody in the class are fighting and reminiscing on what happened the last time they met. As Deku says, alright, I can't leave them in there for much longer, as he snaps his fingers. And Rachel and Amelia come out. And so do the two wolves come out. As he says, what the hell? Isn't the princess, as Bakugo remembers, alright, the princess, as he brings the second princess in. As the second princess says, sister, as her sister, as Amelia slaps the first principal, says, "Don't sister me. You wanted me dead, so you sent me out to a dangerous mission. If it wasn't for Izuku, I'd be alive." She says, "The rapist?" And she says, "He's not a rapist. I know exactly what happened that day." As Bago says, "What exactly happened that day? He's still a rapist." As Izuku says, "Yeah, believe whatever you want." As Aizawa says, "Wait, I want to know." Izuku says, "Fine." As he taps Aizawa's head, and Aizawa has these memories of basically everything that happened the first day they came, and he saw it. As he says, "You liar. You framed him." As the teachers are like, "What?" As basically they go and said, "I want to see too." And as basically they see what happened as the teachers are apologizing, and Izuku says, "Save it. I don't want to hear it." As basically Class 1B walks out, like it was between class hours, as they hear the bell ring, as they all step out, looking the same, but they're not wearing the same uniform. Deku basically looks like this, and he says, "Ch." So he walks on, and everybody sees people come out of Class 1A to B, and they're like, "What? They're back?" As that's where I'm going to be leaving it off, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This has been Lotus What Ifs, out.